Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, a movie that I just saw, and I think I'm in the minority here, but I'm a bit disappointed. So let me just preface this video by saying that I love the previous trilogy. Like Rise of the Planet of the Apes was very good. I think it set it up beautifully. And then Dawn came out, which was even better and arguably the best of the trilogy. And in the end, War for the Planet of the Apes came out, which I think many people don't like, but I actually love that movie because everyone expected there to be a war movie, but it's a very different kind of a movie. If you want to blame something, maybe you can blame the title, but the movie in itself is very psychological. It's very intense, and I think how they ended Caesar's story was absolutely masterful. I think that trilogy is one of the greatest trilogies of all time. I never expected Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes to come close to those level of movies. Matt Reeves did an incredible job with those two movies, and I never expected this movie to come close. I had pretty low expectations, to be honest, from this movie, so it was not like I had high expectations going into it and I left disappointed. I'm disappointed because of what I saw in the movie. I saw a lot of potential. Like there are ideas in the movie that, if explored further, this movie would have been insane. My disappointment is not because the movie is bad or terrible. I think it's actually a pretty okay movie. My disappointment is because, again, of the wasted potential. Like there are ideas of religion that are explored, there are ideas of faith, there are ideas of how people are now perceiving Caesar. He's like a god figure, and how people manipulate the text or history and perceive Caesar differently. Some people see Caesar as a person of compassion who wants humans and apes to coexist, while some people just see his tagline, that the line that he uttered, the most apes together strong, and what they interpret from that line is that apes should remain strong and fight against anyone who is not an ape. So these are very interesting concepts that are there in the movie, and they are explored. But again, it's very surface level stuff. And again, the storytelling is a bit simplistic. I expected more to be there. So now that I have said why I was disappointed by the movie, let me say a few things that I did like about the movie. So the character of Noah is great. Like you want to root for him. He's the main protagonist, you could say, in this movie. He's like the Caesar of this movie. You want to root for him. There's a good backstory. We spend decent amount of time with him. We sympathize with him. We want him to do well and learn and grow. So that's a pretty good start, right? You have a protagonist that you actually like. The second thing that I liked about the movie was Raka's character. He basically teaches the main protagonist about how Caesar actually was, and his scenes with the main protagonist are what I took away the most from the movie. Those scenes are so sweet and so amazing. I really loved their chemistry, and I really felt their bond as well. So that was also very good. As I said before, there are ideas of religion, there are ideas of faith that were explored pretty nicely, although I would have wanted them to dig a bit deeper. And again, the visuals are very impressive. Like I did not doubt a single frame that I saw. So technically, this movie is great. In terms of what I did not like about the movie, I really did not like any of the human characters. Like there are no humans in the movie except the main lady protagonist that you see in the poster, and I really did not like her acting that much as well. Like I think the other motion capture work is great, but in terms of her acting alone, I think that maybe someone else casted into that role would have done a better job. I think she was fine, but I think that her character could have been a lot more interesting, and she just wasn't. She was just a bystander character, and she expected the way I always predicted her to behave. So that was a bit disappointing. And the villain Proximus. I think some people like him because of his voice and his stature, but he's just a bad guy. And I don't find his motivations enough for me to even root for or against him. Like the best villains are the villains that we actually sympathize with. We actually know why they are doing what they are doing, or the villains are completely sadist and they just enjoy to torture everyone. But he's somewhere in between. He really does not have much interesting lines or conversations in the movie than just being that bad guy who tries to influence everyone to be bad. So Proximus was a disappointment. The lady protagonist was a disappointment. The storytelling is interesting but very simple. Like I said, the ideas are interesting, but they needed to explore it more. They needed to make it a bit more dark, a bit more gritty. The action is great, but again, there are no action sequences that I remember that I take away with myself. There are no scenes or shots that I would like to frame in my walls. Unlike Dawn or War, which were absolutely beautiful movies and had some amazing set pieces. So those things are a bit disappointing. And again, they needed to dig a bit further. It's a nice, plain, simple movie if you want to have a popcorn and enjoy. The wasted potential part is really disappointing to me. Like I said, like this is not just a popcorn movie. This should not have been just a popcorn movie, but this is a simple popcorn movie that you can just go and watch and enjoy and have a good time while you're drunk, like Jeremy Jahn says. And I think his rating is also pretty accurate for the movie. I think he rated the movie by saying that it's a good time if you're drunk. And that's really a shame because this movie has some ideas that should not require you to be drunk. This movie has is basically the sequel to the classic trilogy that we just saw, and not to compare those movies. I think it's very unfair to compare this movie with the previous trilogy because the previous trilogy was so great. But people will compare it, and I think many people have compared it and found it to be pretty good. So maybe I'm in the minority here, but in my opinion, the things just did not fall in place in this movie. I left very underwhelmed. I did not leave the theater feeling what I felt after watching Dune 2 or even Challengers or even other smaller movies like Wonka or something. Like there are many movies that I really love that many people don't. So I'm not that critic who sees movie very harshly and likes to say that a movie was disappointing. If you go through my channel, there's rarely a movie that I've given a bad review for. Even movies like Maestro and things that everyone hated, I found things that I loved and I gave a positive review. But I really can't give a positive review for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes because there wasn't much new in it, and what I saw in the screen had so much potential, and in terms of what they had, they under delivered. So again, it was disappointing for me, but hopefully you all will enjoy it like all the other critics and audiences. I am actually worried for the movie in one aspect though. That's the box office. Like the movie costs over $150 million to make. You could argue it needs around 450 to $500 million just to break even, and I don't say it, guys. At max, this movie makes $400 million or $450 million. It can never be a profit at the theatrical window, and that's the best case scenario, I think. So let's just see how the public reacts. I hope the movie has long legs, but I think the summer movie season has started pretty badly with the Fall Guy flopping, and I just hope that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes does not flop and more people love the movie than myself. Because if many people come out after watching saying, yeah, it was okay, I don't think that's enough for a movie like this to become a hit. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you like this video. If you do, please do like and subscribe. And yeah, see you in the next video.